Welcome back, design students. In this video we're going to work on the textures and materials for our gnome, but I wanted to show you that I did some more work on the hat for him. I created these little tassel things, and I created the little fuzzy balls for the end, and I worked on his nose somewhat. And if you look at the nose, you can see that we have these nice sort of clumps of fur, and I did the same thing to the beard. And what that is, the setting that is of course called clumping, and it's right here. So I played around with this. Of course, if the object's small, you're going to need more clumps, and I played around with the strength. And then for the beard, I did the same thing, and the clumps are a little larger. I added more strength. I added this thing called scruffle, which I liked very much. I think that sort of makes the clumps overlap or something. And I also worked on the texture, the material, to get the look that I wanted. One of the settings that I discovered was really important, this is the beard, is the transmission tint. And you can see here for the white fuzzy ball, I have the melanin at 0, the base color at white, the transmission tint at a very light beige, and also, oh yes, also very importantly is the roughness. If the roughness is 0, what's going to happen is it's going to reflect everything, and it's going to look very shiny and not a true color. So you need to play around with the roughness setting as well. And one other thing I want to show you, I'm going to go ahead and apply this material. I have this base material for the white fuzzy balls onto this ball here. And I want to show you that you can actually take the hair and fur modifier and right click on it and copy it and then paste it onto other objects. And if they're similar, it'll just work. Of course, you need to check it. The size of the geometry does matter, so I would always check it and adjust the settings as necessary. So let's start with the body. If you don't have the material editor open already, go ahead and open it, and we're going to create a physical material. I'm going to name this body, and I'm going to drag it onto the body, and I'd like to get this brown color that I have here. An easy way to do that is to click on the base color swatch and get this eyedropper here and just simply click, and you'll get the exact same color. And the feet are the same, so we're just going to go ahead and actually I'm going to copy this. I'm going to hold down Shift while I'm dragging a copy of the material over, and I'm going to name this one feet. You'll see why in a little bit. The feet are the same color, but maybe I don't want them to be. And we don't want these to be reflective at all, and we want the roughness to be 100%. Now the hat, of course, can be whatever color I want. I'm going to go ahead and make a copy and name this one hat. If I want it to be this same tan color here, then of course I'll go ahead and apply it, and then I can click the base color swatch and get that eyedropper and sample that. But I may want it to be red or something. Now the hands are a different color than the body. Now the easiest thing to do to deal with that is to use a multi-sub-object material. So I'm going to go back to the material editor, and here is the body material. I'm going to zoom out some and move that one up. And then I'm going to collapse it and copy it, hold down Shift and copy it. Then I'm going to grab a multi-sub-object material and pull that out. Connect that one to 1 and connect that one to 2. Select the multi-sub-object material and delete all the nodes that you don't need. And I'm going to name the first one body, and the second one hands. And I'm going to rename the hand material hands, and then we're going to attach then we're going to apply the multi-sub-object material to the body. Now we need to tell 3D Max that we want the hands to be material ID number 2. So to do that, we need to select the body and scroll down in the settings here and find material IDs. we need to switch to polygon mode and select the polygons that make up the hand. I'm going to click these 4 here. Actually, let me hide my backdrop that I created. Just going to select these 4 on the bottom here. Then I'm going to grow the selection, and that should just allow it to grow right up the hand to get to the point where I want it, which would be right about there. And then I'm going to make these material ID number 2. And do the same with the other hand. Grow that selection. I'm just going to type in 2. And then we need to change the color of the material. So I'm going to select the hands material, move this over, click the base color swatch, get that eyedropper, and sample that color on the hands. And click OK. So now he has different color hands. Turn off edge faces so you can see it. And you can clearly see that he does. Okay, so now we need to make these objects look like fabric. And we're going to use a displacement map to do that. So you should have in your exercise files a material or a texture that looks like this. And it looks like basically knitted fabric. Make sure you have placed that in the Scene Assets Images folder of your project folder so that you can access it. And then we're going to open the material editor, and I'm going to start with the body. I'm going to open this material up, and this material has a displacement node. It's right here. So I'm going to drag off of that node, General Bitmap, and I'm going to select that texture. And then I'm going to move this over and collapse this. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the hands. And that may not look like much until we render. I'm going to open up the Arnold render view, and you'll clearly be able to see the fabric looking displacement happening right here. You can also see that clumping that I did on the beard. Now I've hidden the hat here to show you that I also clearly have a problem here with the arms that needs to be addressed. You may also have a problem if you extruded geometry from the original body. That's why this is not working, because these new polygons that I created don't have any mapping coordinates. The original sphere does, and also the hand does, because that was a sphere on its own, if you remember correctly, and I attached it to this. So I'll show you how to fix that. What you need to do is go to polygon mode and select some polygons. You can click one and then hold down Control and double click on the next one to select the whole ring. And then you can grow your selection. It's the easiest way to do that. Hopefully it works out. That worked out pretty good. I just need to get these right here. I can do that with a double click. And then what we need to do is apply mapping coordinates to these. So let's go to the modifier list and find UVW map. And this is going to need to be cylindrical, and it's going to need to project in the X direction, and we need to adjust the size of the cylinder. It needs to be probably 26 by 26, and then we need to adjust the height. And then we need to rotate the gizmo. Rotate the gizmo so that it faces the same direction as the arm. And make sure it's tall enough. And we can do the same thing over here, but we need to add a new edit poly to the top of the stack. show the selection. Then I can take this UVW map that I already have here and copy it, and then paste it on these polygons, and then just open up the gizmo and move it over and rotate it. And then finish with an edit poly at the top of the stack. Oops, wrong one. And we'll see what that looks like. And you can clearly see that that fixed the arms. Now, if you want the material or the displacement map to look a little, the fabric to look a little finer like it does here on the hands, then what you'll need to do is go into the material editor, find the map that's on the part you want to fix. In this case, it's this one. And then you need to play with the tiling. And the tiling works in two different directions. I would try U first and maybe make that 2 and see what kind of look you get. And then try 2 in the other direction. Now what you start to get some is some sort of repetition here, so you need to be careful with that. So let's make this one 1 again and see what that looks like. So now we need to do the hat. I'm going to unhide the hat, and the hat could be problematic, but we need to create a new material for it nonetheless. And you can see here that I created some extra geometry for the hat. I just extruded these polygons here around this part, and then I beveled them to get that look. Pull out a physical material. I'm going to name it hat. I feel like I already did this. And click on the base color node and drag that onto the hat. I did already do it. Knock down the reflections, bring up the roughness, and we're going to apply that same displacement map on this one. See what we get. Now it's unfortunate that we're just not going to know what it looks like until we render. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. And you can clearly see that I have some issues here with the new geometry that I extruded, just like I did with the arms. So I'm going to have to fix that with a UVW map. And here's the finished product. Not bad for an afternoon's work. I went ahead and added the UV coordinates to these polygons here, and you can see how much better it looks. But I think on the whole this looks pretty good. Now if you wanted to put a pattern on your hat, you would have to create a pattern or download a pattern, and then you would have to put it on here. But what you would more than likely have to do is unwrap this and make a UVW template in order to place it properly. Make sure you create a nice backdrop for your work and put some Arnold lights in there and show off what you've done. And I hope you enjoyed this series of tutorials. I'm sorry that each one went on too long, but that's just the nature of the way things are in 3D modeling. And I'll see you in the next series.